Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very exciting session. And we'll be talking in today's session mainly about Rahul Gandhi facing a very big embarrassment yet again, and also the fact that Kavya Maran of Sunrisers Hyderabad, the huge controversy which is all over the internet, it is going viral, and we'll be talking about that, as well as the very viral interview of Farah Khan's interview with Ranveer Alabadia, and much, much more in today's session. So, friends, hope you are enjoying your weekend. We know that the US-Iran war is very, very intense and ongoing, and also, there are fears of fear mongering by the opposition parties with regards to LPG supply, being, a big concern. We'll be talking about that as well. So, friends, let's start with the first news. And what is Rahul Gandhi again? He has hit another self goal. This is what Rahul Gandhi is good at. Now, the Allahabad High Court has directed the Ministry of Home Affairs to produce records related to the alleged citizenship issue of Rahul Gandhi. And according to the report, the High Court passed an interim order directing the Ministry of Home Affairs to produce the entire case file relating to the alleged British citizenship claim of Rahul Gandhi. The matter has been listed for the next hearing on March 19, 2026, and the Lucknow bench of Allahabad High Court, presided over by Justice Rajiv Singh, heard a petition related to Rahul Gandhi about the British citizenship, and so this has been deferred, and the next hearing is on March 19, 2026. So this is, if you look at all the cases related to Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, whether it is the National Herald case by the ED, whether it is the Savarkar defamation case, whether it is the Modi surname defamation case, whether it is the RSS defamation case, Augusta Westland case, so many cases from A to Z. But all these cases, one thing is in common, that either the case, the hearing of the case keeps on getting postponed eternally, or the judge, says to transfer it to another court. So one thing is very, very, sure, that we have discussed this time and again, that in India, the legal system needs a major overhaul. And especially when it comes to VIPs, politicians, the law is not working, very well, isn't it? Because when it comes to the common man, all the laws apply in India. But when it comes to VIPs, they get away with anything, including, murder in this country. We saw that with the case of the Lamborghini case in Pune. We saw that with the case of many sports cars just running and murdering people on footpaths. So this is a sad state of affairs in India. Yeah, your comments.
Yeah, what you said is so true, because see, lawyers like Abhishek Manu Singhvi is not only an advocate, but he's also a senior Congress leader. If you look at his the kind of wealth he has, it's absolutely mind-boggling. And if you look at Sybil, you're talking about Kapil Sybil. It's the same case. And then you talk about the case where you had Judge Verma, where his stacks of notes were burning in one of his rooms. So where did that money come from is the question. So I don't know why these people are not, checked. Everybody else is checked. Even if I make a mistake of 10 rupees, the income tax will be at my door. But in these cases, nobody comes to their doors, and they are like flying all over the world, going by private jet. Even 10 times better than Shah Rukh Khan's and Farah Khan's. You see, so this is really very depressing, because nothing really seems to move in India, and just like Lina said, she says, not hit self goal, he's wasting taxpayers' money. Why is ministry sitting on his file? And why are dates after dates being given? What is this government is extremely scared of him, and we know this. And Lena says income tax will never send notice. So this is the problem that makes people's blood boil. That the common man is always under scrutiny, and any small mistake we make, they are at our throats. But these people are walking around, making fun of the country, breaking all the rules. And as Jaydev said, all these posh cars, running over people, and they're all, there is a literal word that they're all minors, and suddenly the minors are replaced by the drivers. So it's so, it's so hard to believe that they get off so easily. So yes, Jaydev, it's a big problem. Okay, moving on to the other case where they are now opposing the LPG. you know. So we're talking about Jai Badri in the parliament, Thali Wali Mami, as we all call her, was again in her shouting spree. So she was saying there is no gas cylinder, no potato, no onion for the common man, and the import of potato and onions from Hormuz Strait has also stopped. And the country is really grateful to Jay Badri for giving us this kind of information. So then, what is she actually cooking for Lambuji is the question. Now, in her kitchen, she doesn't have potatoes, she doesn't have onion, and she doesn't have gas. So, how is she cooking? I mean, with this expression, nobody is going to give her a cylinder also free of charge, because that's how people, that's the kind of image people have of her in social media as a very, very obnoxious person who keeps on shouting for nothing. Now, I must tell you, friends, that it's very frustrating, because even the Prime Minister Modi actually said that those creating panic are hurting the country and exposing their own political agenda. And it's very important that to understand, just like Fadnavis said, there is no shortage at all. The Ministry of Petroleum has confirmed there is zero shortage for homes. They are delivering about 50 lakh cylinders every day. Now, there was a temporary squeeze for hotels and restaurants because the government invoked the Essential Commodities Act to prioritize families. However, as of March 14th, commercial distribution is already resumed, you know, in 29 states. So, why are these opposition talking about, this kind of shortage? The friction in parliament comes from two specific government moves that the opposition is using to fuel the argument. What is happening in the process is there is hoarding happening. So, to stop the hoarding, the government set a 25-day gap between cylinder booking for urban areas and 45 days for rural areas. Since 90% of India's LPG imports usually passes through the Strait of Hormuz, which is currently a war zone, the government had to reroute the ships. While this was handled successfully, it gave the opposition a talking point to suggest a crisis was looming. And the way this lady, Jaya Badri, goes on and on about it, I think she should just catch the next naval ship and go to the Hormuz and Strait of Hormuz and just get those potatoes, back to our country. And onions also. Don't forget, Lambuji likes onions also. So, Thaliwali Mami should make sure that she's on one of those ships and right where the Strait of Hormuz is happening. She doesn't even care about what is happening during war, the people being killed, even innocently, certain people are being killed in this drone attacks. This lady doesn't bother about that. She's all only bothering about her kitchen and her cooking and what her husband is facing and what she is facing. So this itself shows that this lady is just a nuisance in the parliament, like many other people, like all those Mahua Moitra and all these people who just talk for the sake of talking to make sure that, Modi ji doesn't run his government in a smooth manner. Isn't it, Jaydev?
Yeah, and also very importantly, Modi ji is the ultimate Vishwaguru because now he has struck a deal with Iran. Because the latest news is that Iran is allowing, two Indian flagged LPG carrier ships to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Now, these ships are carrying about 92,700 metric tons of LPG, and they are expected to reach Gujarat ports in Mundra and Kandla. So you can see that the so-called fake LPG shortages are being inflated by the media, by the PR of the opposition parties like the Congress party. So this is to create a sort of panic among Indians, and there are a set of influencers who are, and also some media personalities who are heavily paid to push this narrative that India is short of LPG cylinders.
So here, Jaydev, I just want to give a
Yeah.
factual check. Okay. So what is the claim by the opposition? What is the reality by government data statistics? Okay. They say opposition says the country is running out of gas. Now the reality is that refineries have increased production by 31% to compensate for imports. People are suffering in queues, is what the opposition claims, and I'm sure Thali Wali Mami is at the head of it. Now queues are largely due to panic booking. 88 lakh people try to book at once out of fear. Now, they also say that supply is cut off. Two Indian LPG carriers safely crossed the Strait of Hormuz today and are heading towards Gujarat. So, Prime Minister is making sure that India is taken care of, and he is making sure that Indians are not hurt by this sort of useless talk that's happening. Moreover, now my advice to Indians is that if there is a war actually happening, and if Indians are going to suffer, okay, you better bear it. There is no option. You have to join hands and help the leader, to make life easy for the common man. If there is no LPG, find out other methods to cook your food. Don't act like, little mice running into the hole. And it's not only Prime Minister's job to take care of the country and the people. It is this that makes me boil when I see the opposition speaking. They talk, Rahul Gandhi and all of them talk as though they are the caretakers of India. As far as that I'm concerned, till today they have not done anything to benefit India. And it is a fact. Yeah, back to you.
Yeah, also
Le-
during, yeah.
So Lena makes an important point. MP privileges and benefits should be revoked, with salary being cut for not letting Parliament function. Absolutely. So, and also she is also telling you that, see, fake news about LPG. I got gas in 4 days. It's all lies. And she's talking about Jaya. She's arrogant and extremely rude. See the way she talks to paparazzi. And she also says opposition has forgotten. Congress had rationed gas 6 to 9 gas cylinders. People have forgotten this. So please understand the truth. And whenever you get a chance, please, defend your country, defend your leader who's trying to rescue you from all this. Luckily, we are not in the eye of the war. So this is something that we have to understand, isn't it, Jed?
Yeah, so people in India, they have to not forget the fact that UPA, during the UPA time, the LPG cylinders were, rationed, and it was limited to 6 cylinders. So you can see that, how Congress is, they're playing a double game, and but now people have to make themselves aware and spread this more and more. But very importantly, people in Kerala and people in Tamil Nadu, they have to understand what Congress is trying to do, and they should give a chance to BJP, right? But it will take some time, but at least the number of the voting percentage might increase, and that gradually in these states. Now, speaking of states like Tamil Nadu, a very controversial thing happened in the world of cricket. Now, this is quite shocking that Kavya Maran, uh, the controversies surrounding her, and she is owning the IPL team Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now, what is the controversy is that this Sunrisers team, they bought the Pakistani player Abrar Ahmed in the 100. Fans criticize this move because obviously he's a Pakistani player, and how is he allowed to play in the IPL? And so Kavya Maran became the focus of
No,
the
no,
backlash.
Jaydev. No,
Yeah.
Jaydev, more importantly, he criticized the Pahalgam and he also
Yes.
criticized everything. He was speaking against India. And this lady has decided that he is the hero for her team. Now, this is something, and when we talk about this lady, we're also talking about the IPL, the people who are, managing it. They should also have the brains not to bring these Pakistanis into it.
Yeah. So also very importantly that responding to the controversy, Rajiv Shukla from BCCI clarified that BCCI has no authority over foreign leagues, including
Wow.
the 100, which is run by
He
England
speaks very
based.
conveniently, isn't it?
Yeah, so this is a franchise in the 100. And so this is one thing is for sure that, uh, Kavya Maran, her father is Kalanidhi Maran, the owner of Sun TV network and Sunrisers Hyderabad. Her uncle is Dayanidhi Maran, as we all know, a senior leader in the DMK and former union minister. So we know that DMK is very, very, anti sort of Dravidian philosophy they have, and they believe in the anti-Hindu sentiments. Time and again we have seen that, especially in the caste system in Hinduism.
So
So this is
here,
not,
Jaydev, let me
yeah,
just make a small interruption here because you had spoken about Rajiv Shukla. I want to ask Rajiv Shukla how many times he visited Pakistan and what is his affinity with Pakistan and what is Congress's affinity with Pakistan. Okay, so he is just trying to protect, the fact that he loves to sit at all these functions, and nobody can miss his presence. Everybody knows his character and the kind of scams he was involved in. Okay, so this is nothing new coming out of Rajiv Shukla. They have every right to decide who not to take. So let them not bring out these foolish statements like this. Yeah. So Leena has come out with an interesting comment. She says Kavya's X channel has been deleted. Everybody is boycotting her. Yeah. Back to you.
yeah. And also this is quite an interesting tweet by Dr. Purnima. A Pakistani cricket player insults and mocks an Air Force officer of Tamil Nadu, Mr. Abhinandan Varthaman,
What?
fighting for his country and people. As we all know, he's very famous. And the same Pakistani cricket player is given 190,000 pounds, about 2.34 crores, to play in a cricket team owned by a Tamilian. And so irony died a million deaths. Tamil Nadu takes pride in its people, culture, and language, and still we hear this. So
So
this,
yeah,
yeah, this it's a very nice, a tweet.
tweet.
Yeah,
Yeah, so this very clearly shows, and again, you're talking about people like Mohandas Pai also speaking. Why are you taking these characters in IPL? There is no excuse for this. Please do not whitewash it, Mr. Rajiv Shukla. As it is, your presence irritates a lot of people because of the kind of history we've had. There was a time when Manmohan Singh had biryani with Pakistanis, So let's not talk about that. Let's not go into that side at all. Because today we are proud of India. We are patriots. We want our country to shine. And the war has, the Pahalgam incident and the war that followed, the attack that followed was, proof that India can take care of itself. We don't need these Pakistanis. It's very obvious. We don't need them. So now moving on to another very interesting topic is, the loud mouthed. I'm not talking about Jaya Badri, and now I'm talking about Farah Khan. Okay, and Farah Khan has suddenly decided to, make some very very bold statements about none other than Akshay Khanna. Okay, now she revealed that during the 1990s she found Akshay extremely difficult to work with. She described him as constantly irritable and someone who would frequently throw tantrums or even throw things on set. She was so put off by Akshay Khanna's behavior that whenever she heard he was in a movie, she would lie and say, I don't have dates, just to avoid the project. So, Jaydev, I'm just muting you. Okay. Yeah. So, Farah attributed the weird behavior to the fact that Akshay was dealing with premature hair loss at that time, which he has since admitted started when he was 19. She noted that his insecurity about his hair made him defensive and moody. She pointed that he often wore a cap in almost every rain or water scene, like in Tal, to hide his thinning hair. It definitely looks like there's more to this story when you see how the timing is coming up. Akshay Khanna is currently at the peak, absolute peak of his second innings. His performance as Rahman the Kite in Durandar has not only crossed 400 crores but has sparked a massive viral trend on social media. When someone is winning this hard, industry politics often comes into play. And so now, if you're looking at this was the same thing that happened to Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, so just as fans are celebrating Akshay's comeback, Farah Khan's choice of the word traumatized to describe working with him in the 90s feels like a very heavy label. Even though she praised him later in the same podcast, the negative headline about his hair loss irritability is what started trending immediately, effectively distracting from his current box office glory. It is not just Farah. Since Zurinder became a hit, other old stories have suddenly started popping up trying to criticize this young actor. Now, director Manish Gupta recently revived claims about Akshay's conduct on the set of Section 375. Producer Kumar Mangat hinted that Akshay's exit from Drishyam was due to his, overestimating his individual contribution. And when multiple difficult actor narratives emerge, right as someone hits a career high, it usually suggests that certain circles in the industry might be feeling threatened by a shift from a low-key character actor to a dominant box office force. So here also you must note that there is something, what is happening is that when Dhurandhar 2 comes, apparently he's not there in that film, he dies. So I don't know how popular the second one is going to be, because the first one was a super hit, 80% because of Akshay. Now, everybody knows Akshay was, he was the son of Vinod Khanna. So he's not exactly an outsider like Sushant Singh Rajput. But he never actually fit into the inner circle of Bollywood. And he lives in Alibag, and he doesn't go for parties. He doesn't play the PR game. So Farah Khan, on the other hand, is the ultimate, like Karan Johar, industry insider. Now, when she's talking about his, his losing hair, I don't know why. Then, in which case, we should be also criticizing Farah Khan's weight, isn't it? And because of her weight, I mean, we can talk about so many things, isn't it? Now, here she is being very personal because everybody in Bollywood has changed their features with plastic surgery. Okay, so none of them have their natural nose. They don't have their natural mouth. They don't have anything natural. So why the hell are you bothered whether Akshay Khanna is bald or not? Okay, Akshay Khanna will put a wig just like Mohanlal is putting, or Mammootty is putting. All these top actors who are, in Bollywood, they're also all putting wigs. So what's the problem? Why is she getting irritated with that? Now, she is definitely on a mission to make sure that Akshay Khanna becomes dust, just like Sushant Singh Rajput has become, So, she's also a little bit scared. So she says, no, his acting is also good. He deserves a sort of an Oscar. But this situation is very much like the classic case of a tall poppy syndrome, where the industry tries to cut down growing people who grow too fast. And this is exactly what happened in the case of SSR. So if you are looking at Akshay's performance as Rahman the Kite, which became a 1,000 crore global phenomenon, old stories about him being irritable or traumatizing to work, which suddenly became national headlines. So what I don't understand is that how is the past, what he did in the past, important for Miss Farah Khan? In which case, I should be telling you that, see, her stupid, food blogs, where she constantly makes fun of her servant, because he can't speak English, is the lousiest thing that's happening in YouTube, right? So we would also like to criticize you, madam. And of course, then so many stories about your own brother, which has been spread by every starlet in Bollywood. So don't think that by criticizing Akshay, he is going to lose roles and people are going to stop criticizing him. That is definitely not going to happen because see, people like Kumar Mangat, who said that in through Drishyam 3 he wanted an Akshay with a bald head. Well, it's totally up to the actor to decide whether he should have wear a wig or have a bald head. That's up to him, and he has refused it. So what's the problem then? So this is what's happening in Farah Khan's case. She has been sent on a mission to destroy Akshay Khanna as the Durandar 2 comes into the picture. It looks like the whole industry has been shaken by this young actor. So let me just take a few comments. So Lena says everyone is boycotting her. That we're talking about Kavya, and then yes, and then Farah has become a promoter for all types of products. She is jealous. They hate Aditya Dhar, Yami, and Akshay, waiting for them to fumble. In fact, there's a very interesting that I must tell you about is that you know Jay Badri made fun of Akshay Kumar. And she said that he acted in this movie called Toilet, some love affair, love in a toilet and all that. And she said, whoever will watch a movie with such a name, I won't go for that. So now she's crossed swords with even with the Bollywood insiders. So now Thaliwali Mami is going to get it from the action hero as well. Now, Lena says she has forgotten her choreography, now earning via YouTube. Absolutely. Yeah, back to you, Jen.
Yeah, so let's not forget that Farah Khan, she made a very controversial comment regarding Holi, and she said Holi is the festival of Chapris. That is what she said. And let's not forget, she's has started a YouTube channel just few years back, and the main entertainment in this particular content of hers is making fun of her cook in front of other so-called celebrities, which she features in her shows, right? So it one thing is very clear that Bollywood's time has always it is Bollywood is struggling, and but Durandar showed that these kind of films in which the real talented actors like Akshay Khanna, they make a big mark, and you can see what happened with all the nepotistic kids promoted by Karan Johar, and
you know, the funny thing is, Jaydev, they act as if they are the gatekeepers of Bollywood, and that they try to control the narrative, which they've been doing for so many years. With this gate, Karan Johar coming in and controlling everything, they were the gatekeepers, and now the gate is open. Okay, and everybody from Akshay Khanna to all the people who can act have already started making a mark. So there is nothing this lady can do, or there's nothing that Karan Johar can do, and no longer will all these Chunky Pandey's children, come into movies because people are not interested in them.
yeah, so this is the comment from KK, and he says people like Kavya do not connect, and hence they don't care about Indian sentiments. But
Yeah,
why
absolutely.
BCCI being so
Yes,
indifferent?
that is the question. Why is BCCI so indifferent? They always try to act as though they're helpless. I don't even know what is their role because when a match, when the final was happening, they're just sitting there and cuddling their child and cuddling their wives and all that and cracking jokes. I don't know what they really do. I want them to work hard and be patriotic and care for India the way the Prime Minister is doing. I don't know what they are doing. Okay, they are minting money because obviously the players got so much money, after winning the match. Okay, in a country that is, people don't earn much, this does come as a shocker, but that is cricket anyway. Leave it. But at least the BCCI, head, the administrative people should understand. People are angry because Indians were murdered in the Pahalgam, attack, and this has been happening over the years. So it's important to respect Indian sentiments, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the most important thing for BCCI is money and business. That's the only thing that matters. They would be only delighted that more India-Pakistan matches be played, because that is what brings in the TRP and also brings in people to the stadiums, and that translates to a lot of money, because whenever a India Pakistan match is being shown on television, the number of viewers tuning into that particular match is in crores, and that much crores of people are watching that match, and that much of advertisement revenue is being pumped in back to these organizations like BCCI.
Also, Lina says government of India does not need to give Pakistani cricketers any visa for IPL. Now, here I must make a very, very important point. One of the parents who had taken a small son for the final cricket match said they were very thrilled that Indians won the match, but he said he was disgusted to see Hitesh Pandya, isn't it? Hardik Pandya, isn't it? Hardik Pandya, kissing his wife openly and putting her on his lap and saying that my son was asking me, what is that, Papa? Okay. Now, as I told you, these people really don't care about these things at all. You have Nora Fatehi, who's more of a item girl in Bollywood, coming and performing for who? Is it a family gathering, an event that where families are coming? So why is that happening? And why does Hardik Pandya think he's some kind of Shah Rukh Khan? Go and kiss your wife at home. Why do you want to kiss her in a stadium? Because the focus is going to be on you. So are you trying to show that India is so liberal that you can do anything in the stadium? He should be the first one to be sacked. But then Rajiv Shukla is there and he is his best friend.
And also, friends, one more important fact, friends, is that the 2020 World Cup which India won, you know how much the advertisement revenue was? It was 1,500 crores. So you can see, how much of money a single tournament is bringing revenue for, the likes of BCCI. So it is in their best interest that more matches which sells tickets, which brings record viewership. So especially the India-Pakistan matches, it is business for them at the end of the day. Yes, it is his girlfriend. Yes, and also I saw Hardik Pandya, wearing the Indian flag and doing all these kind of
Sorts of nonsense. Yes.
theatrics.
Absolutely. And Lina says that those Indians who were murdered in Pahalgam were Hindus. Tourists were segregated. Absolutely. So there is a very, very malicious agenda that's happening. So we don't need Pakistani players in our teams at all. And I think this is something that Jai Shah has to take a call on that. If he needs to have Indians in his hand. So Rajini says definitely BJP should come to power in Tamil Nadu. Absolutely. So with this, we end this show. We'll see you tomorrow with a lot more news. Good night. Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.